Hey guys, Marsingin here, bringing you another Dragon Ball Z Dokkan battle video. And so part 1 of the anniversary has been underway for quite a few days now, and I'm already seeing people itching for the part 2 content. I did talk about this very briefly on Twitter the other day when someone was asking about, you know, how their experience with the anniversary, and the pacing of the celebration is very weird when you think about how the content has been separated out, because obviously part 1 on the very first day we got the first couple of stages to farm some free-to-play units, but those units don't have TUR awakenings or their EZAs, so they're basically unrunnable at the moment. And then of course we got 4 stages of the red zone, but I mean, I literally called it in my tweet baby's first red zone, because the 4 stages that we got are a joke. You know, obviously this is the hardest mode in the game on JP because of like 3 or 4 stages in particular, and those are the ones that we don't have yet. So that's the real big thing that I think people are waiting for. And then of course the next day the banners came out, which was the big draw. But once you do your summons, that's kind of it really for the part 1 content. We got a couple of Vegeta and Goku event missions, and then of course we got a new boss rush, which is I mean, you can't play it on auto the first time obviously, but you it's not like you really need to pay attention. You just bring a relatively decent category team, and it's just an absolute breeze. Boss rush has not been difficult for a very long time, so it's essentially just jump in, waste 10 to 15 minutes of your time, and then you get 35 stones out of it at the end. So obviously worth doing, but not exactly a lot of content to sink your teeth into. So a lot of people have been asking about when part 2 of the celebration is going to begin. I know a couple of other people have talked about this already, but I'm still seeing people ask about it. So I thought I'd put out a video. I know obviously not everybody watches every single YouTuber, so those of you who do keep an eye on my stuff to get your news, obviously I do appreciate it. So I thought we would go over the dates, and we're obviously going to base this on a couple of things, which is the way the anniversary panned out on JP, and then obviously we can look at the dates from last year as well. So the important things that obviously everybody is waiting for is what are we actually getting in part 2. So the main things are the extra couple of stages to the free-to-play story events. So you're going to be able to get the medals to awaken the characters up to TUR, but they don't get their EZAs just yet. And then of course we get the stage to awaken the Gohan and Goten into the LR, Gohan, Goten and Trunks. Remember, if you want to do the full like free to play, you need to have 3 copies of this card farmed up, 2 at SA10, 1 at SA5. And then of course once they become an LR you can feed the 2 SA10 ones together, and then once they get their EZA you can feed in the SA5 one, get them to full super attack level 25 for free. So if you've got nothing to do right now, make sure you've got those extra copies farmed up. Same for the Goku, well it's Chi-Chi in the base SSR. Chi-Chi and Vegeta from these events have a spare copy at SA5 ready for when they do get their EZA. Then we're going to get 2 more stages for both the red zones. So we're going to get Cooler and Fusion Android 13 for movie bosses, and then we're going to get General Rildo and Baby for the GT ones. And Baby is one of the ones that can be quite difficult. I did a guide going over all the different bosses and their abilities for both versions. Those are obviously up on the channel if you haven't seen those. But Baby can do a lot of AoE attacks depending on the RNG, and obviously as we've seen with some of these harder stages, especially Broly being the most famous one, units that need to super attack first to get their defense don't do very well when difficult bosses do AoE attacks. So I think a lot of people, I would say 99% of people, I guess unless you're brand new, didn't find the first couple of stages very difficult, but I can definitely see Baby being the one where some people start to struggle. So good old 3 attempts per day. I really hope one day they'll get rid of that, but anyway. So 2 more stages for each of these, and then we get 2 more missions for the Goku event and the Vegeta event. We've already gotten the artificial life forms and target Goku, and we get GT heroes and GT bosses. And then for the Vegeta one, we already got the Namek Saga and Bond of Master and Disciple, and now we'll get Super Saiyan 2 and Margin Power as well. So a couple of extra missions to do, and then of course the big thing is the Part 2 LR banner, the top legendary summon banner that brings us the LR Kaioken Goku and the LR Great Ape Vegeta. The other thing, of course, this is all basically timed so that the 3+1 on the Dokkan Fest LR banners ends. Part 2 begins, this banner comes out, and then this is when we will be able to use the rainbow tickets. So some of those have been given out already. More missions will be added, and more of them are given out as like login bonuses and stuff like that. You can use them on the Part 2 LR banner or the Gods or Super Saiyan 4's banner. So if you're still missing one of the Dokkan Fest LRs, it's probably more worthwhile to go for them. If you're somebody like me, I'm pretty happy with where I'm at with both the Dokkan Fest LRs. I have 2 dupes in both of them. So for me, and for anyone in a similar sort of situation, if you can use all your rainbow tickets on this banner and actually pull one or both of these new LRs without having to use any stones, that's obviously a massive dub, because we don't know what the global exclusive thing is going to be in Part 3. I'm going to do a video speculating about that a little bit as we get closer to Part 3, because we assume it's going to be in Part 3, because obviously it's going to replace the LR Goku Jr. and Vegeta Jr. that we got much earlier on Global. So that could be a banner for all we know. I don't think it will be, but you never know. So, you know, if you have a few extra stones ready for when whatever that is comes out, that could be helpful. So rainbow tickets definitely going to be very, very good. So I brought up the 6th anniversary details here for last year on Global, and you can see that the anniversary started at exactly the same time. So it was the 6th of July at 4 PM PST, which if we go back to this one for Global, there you go, 6th of July, 4 PM PST. This is actually midnight for me in the UK, so pretty much already the 7th. And then, of course, the banners came out a day later. So going from the 6th of the 7th, if we go into Part 2, we can see here that the top legendary summon banner came out on the 25th. But the official start of Part 2, as you can see here, new stages of the story events. So remember, we got the Krillin and 18, as well as the Gohan and Piccolo, and then of course the free-to-play Roshi. Exactly the same situation as this year. The stage gets added to make the unit into an LR, and then the stages get added to these ones to make the units into TURs. So that is on the 18th, which was a Sunday at 4 PM. So again, for me, midnight, essentially like Monday morning, right? And this is when the EZA for UI Goku came out as well. Because actually, that's the other thing that I should have brought up the page for. Because if we look at the JP version, we're going to Part 2. The new stages were all added on the 10th of the 2nd, and then the Extreme Z battle for the Gods and for Omega and Super Saiyan 4 Gogeta came out on the 10th of the 2nd as well. So we should expect those. I'll do team building guides for those, because obviously Global has a slightly different landscape from JP when this all came out. We have a lot of extra units that JP didn't have when the anniversary started, so I will redo those team building guides, but we should be expecting those to come out as well. So this is the 10th of February, and if we look at Part 1, Part 1 for JP started on the 29th of January, so this is basically 12 days. Now if we go back again to the 6th anniversary, started on the 6th, basically at the same time, and then Part 2, all the stuff came out on the 18th, again at the same time. This is basically at like reset. And as you can see, 12 days. So this should be exactly the same, because the only thing that changed from this year to last year was they brought the Dokkan Fest banner up, so that the banner was basically a day early, because the celebration started on the 6th, technically. And then the banner came out on the 8th, whereas this year the celebration started on the 6th and the banner came out on the 7th. But that's the only thing that has changed, is the banner going up by 1 day. Everything else seems to fit exactly into the timeline if we follow the exact copy of JP. So what this should mean is that we should be able to use the Part 2 information from last year as an exact guideline of when this stuff is going to come out. So the story events and the EZAs should come out on the 18th at 4 PM PST. Same with the new stages. You can see here, new stages for the God event came out, so the exact same thing. It'll be the new stages for the Red Zone. And then I think there is another co-op campaign. And then there'll be more sales and the Part 2 LR banner, but as we can see for Part 2 on Global, these came out on the 25th, which is exactly 1 week after this Part 2 stuff. And if we go back to JP, This is the story events and the Easy A's. These were all on the 10th. And the Part 2 LR banner, where is it? Top Legendary Summon. There you go, came out on the 17th. And what is that? Yep, exactly. 1 week, 7 days. So, the timing is basically exactly the same. Whilst the start of the anniversary had people a little bit confused, especially with the release of the actual Dokkan Fest banner coming out early, we literally should be able to use the Part 2 information from last year as an exact blueprint of when everything is going to come out. So, annoyingly for me, in my time, in the time zone that we're currently in because of daylight savings or whatever, this is actually 1 AM for me now, not midnight. So all of this stuff is going to drop on what is essentially very late on Sunday night. So what I'll probably do is what I did with the start of the anniversary Part 1, where I will stream a few hours after the stuff comes out when it's like first thing in the morning in the UK, because then obviously that will give me a good few hours that we can stream, go through all the new content, all that good stuff. So for those of you who are in other time zones or you just like to stay up really late, there will be somebody else doing all the new anniversary stuff a few hours after it comes out, but maybe that'll be in a more convenient time zone for you. So let me know what about Part 2 you guys are most looking forward to. The Easy A's are obviously going to be very impactful. I can't wait to use Super Saiyan 4 Gogeta on the Super Saiyan 4 team, and obviously the God Goku on the LR Gods team. And then, of course, the Part 2 LR banner. Let me know all of your thoughts on summoning on this banner and whether or not you are going to be going in for the tickets or for stones, or are you going to be using your tickets on those Part 1 LR banners. I might do a video tomorrow just going over the details of like how to get all of those rainbow tickets, because you absolutely want to try and get as many free summons for LRs as you can. So let me know down below what part you are most excited for. But the key takeaway, like I said, we should be 18th of July, 4 PM PST is when all the new quote-unquote content comes out, and then exactly 1 week later will be when the banner and the rainbow tickets are ready to go. So let me know down below what exactly you guys are most hyped for. Like I said, if you've got nothing to do at the moment as Part 1 content is kind of running dry, make sure you have all of those free-to-play units, extra copies farmed up. If you have extra copies of any of the Easy A units, make sure they're already awakened, ready to go, because that's something I always forget to do, where I have like a second copy of a unit that's going to Easy A, SA5, and then I forget to actually awaken them. So I do the Easy A, and then I realize I have to go off and farm like 35 of their medals or whatever. So make sure you've got that done if you haven't already. So that is going to be it for the video, guys. This has been the Masked Ningen. Smash that like button, subscribe to the channel if you are new. Check out the links down below for the Discord and the merch store, and I will see you all again soon. Have a good one.